Are the Cowboys among the NFC's best teams?
I think so. I think so. I think that needs to be said.
What the hell are you smirking about? Bro, you can't get one word out before you start clowning about the Cowboys, man.
No, man. I really do. I really do think that, listen. Marcus and Molly, before you both so rudely interrupted me in the first hour, claiming that, I'm trying to set Dak up or whatever. Dak is not the dude that I would target if my intentions were so insidious and malicious. I would not do that, okay? Because Dak Prescott is the kind of leader and the kind of talent that will rise above that and show up when it really, really counts. This brother's big time. All I pointed out when I brought up the $164 million contract over 4 years, the $126 million guaranteed dollars, the $66 million signing bonus, the $75 million in year one of the contract, all I was pointing out was the fact that if you're Jerry Jones, who ain't getting any younger and has openly acknowledged that Father Time has knocked on that door, okay, and is looking at his own mortality, he's saying, look, man, tomorrow ain't promised to me. I paid you this for a reason, my brother. I need you to step up and make sure you handle your business. Why? Because Jerry knows Ezekiel Elliott is not 100%. Jerry Jones knows he's had injuries and omissions on that offensive line. Jerry Jones knows that CeeDee Lamb has had a concussion, that Amari Cooper missed the game due to COVID, missed a couple of games, COVID protocol, particularly against Kansas City. All right, Michael Gallup was out the first part of the season as well. He sees what Micah Parsons is doing, what Trayvon Diggs has done. He knows DeMarcus Lawrence is coming back, that Randy Gregory is back. He knows what he's got at his disposal. And what he's saying is, the crew that we got here is big time. And if my quarterback is everything that my quarterback has been and is supposed to be, we should be right in that title picture. And I personally understand where Jerry Jones is coming from, and I totally get what he's saying. I don't see what the problem is with that. What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? I don't understand.
The problem for you personally is that if anybody else did this, you would be talking about the owner shouldn't be saying this. That's number one. Number two is this.
Yes.
Number two is this. Jerry is right. I think we all agree with Jerry based on what he said. I think it's a little bit overblown. I thought Dak played fine against the Las Vegas Raiders. Turned the football over, but every quarterback does. We saw Tom Brady have his slumps. We saw Patrick Mahomes earlier this year have his slumps. I understand that, and we said that about those quarterbacks as well. The bottom line is this, though, and to answer the question, no. And it's because of what we're talking about. And I want to contextualize this, Molly, before people fly off the handle and say, how in the hell the Cowboys ain't the best among. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, in totality, they are one of the top teams in the NFC. But when I look at this from a little bit of a personal point of view, and also looking at the other teams that are considered to be the ones that they will have to go through in the playoffs, right now, offensively, is where we actually hung our hat on the Dallas Cowboys for a large majority of this season. The defense is championship-level defense. I don't want that to be news-breaking to people. The Dallas Cowboys defense are a championship defense because of what they have. Yes, I know we lament about Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. DeMarcus Lawrence is a hell of a football player. Randy Gregory showed his impact immediately. Finally, Van Der Esch is playing a little bit better because he's feeding off of guys. But the bottom line is, man, we talking about Green Bay. We're talking about Tampa Bay with two quarterbacks that are leading the MVP conversation.
Okay.
We're talking about the Arizona Cardinals, who are sitting there at 10-3. Obviously, they lost to the Rams. The Rams seem to have figured things out with Sean McVay and figuring out how to get back to some offense.
It's one game.
To have some,
They won two in a row, but the first one was against Jacksonville. That don't really count.
Okay, that's fine. But they have gotten back to the things that will make them successful, and they just beat the team that we all had number one in the NFC based on record. I don't think everybody felt like the Cardinals were the best team. So the bottom line is, when you ask, are they among the NFC's best? Yes, by record. But the way the offense is playing and the way Dak is playing right now, no, because I do not expect Aaron Rodgers to have a slump. I do not expect Tom Brady to have a slump. I expect the Arizona Cardinals to bounce back. I think Matt Stafford is starting to ascend. That's the context I'm talking about.
Which legitimizes the comments of Jerry Jones.
Nobody
Because
said
what
he was wrong.
Hold on. Calm down, big boy. You ain't got the huff and puff. You ain't blowing the house down, brother.
You say,
Chill out and relax.
You sit there trying to be calm. We know what the hell you saying.
Why you panicking?
We know what
for?
you saying.
I mean, how come I can't speak?
I don't want to hear you go through the contract numbers again.
All I'm just trying to say, I'm not going to bring up the $164 million contract. I promise. I'm not going to do that. The point that I'm trying to make, Swagoo, is this. If I'm my buddy Jerry Jones, and I see that Aaron Rodgers over there looking like he about to capture another league MVP, or I see that 44-year-old quarterback tinkering towards 45, and that man is playing like a league MVP himself, and I look at my roster, and I look at my defense, which Swagoo just went on the national television airwaves and said it's a championship caliber defense. What I'm looking at is, all right, 1 minute my receiver's down, another minute my running back is down. But my quarterback ain't down. He might have had that calf injury a few weeks ago, but he's all right now. So guess what? The bottom line is, with that money I'm paying you, you should be able to answer the call, because I'm going to need you to do it, because I got Matthew Stafford, I got Kyler Murray, I got Aaron Rodgers, and I got Tom Brady to deal with. If you do what I need you to do, then guess what? We could take them all out, which makes Jerry Jones' comments not only appropriate, but necessary. I completely applaud what Jerry Jones has said. The Cowboys are one of the elite teams in the National Football League. That means you got the pressure. You got to handle the pressure. Can you do it?
Marcus, can you imagine if Stephen A. owned the team? Like, can you even imagine? There would be daily radio appearances.
Molly,
it wouldn't even be. He'd be 10 times worse than Jerry.
He'd be firing people every day. He'd be firing people every day.
You know what I mean?
Because he is a week-to-week guy.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.